Beautiful people. What is good? What is good? What is good? Of course, you know who I be. Good Doc, Dr. Mike TV. Back again, once again. Spending some down here in South Kakalaki. Enjoying what right now is some pretty bad weather. All right? But this video came to my mind and I felt like I had to deliver it today. It was on my mind, so I had to get it off of my chest. A lot of people will ask me, Doc, what is the main reason why foreigners should visit the Philippines? In your opinion, what is the overall beneficial reason why foreigners should visit the Philippines? And I do not believe it is the answer that you think I would possibly come up with. But I'm going to give it to you today. All right. So a lot of people think, man, the reason you should visit the Philippines because of the beaches, because of, the women and, it's the culture and all of that stuff. And yes, all of those reasons are great reasons why you should visit the Philippines. But there's one reason in my mind. And there's one reason that's been in my heart for quite a long time as to reasons why you should visit the Philippines today, tomorrow, whenever, or just travel abroad in general. That one reason is I feel as though visiting a place like the Philippines will help you appreciate where you're coming from. It helps you appreciate your own home country. Now, a lot of people look at me like, Doc, what in the world is you talking about, bro? All we want to do is get about the Matrix, bro. All we want to do is just see other places, man. The Matrix is not fun. It's all it is, and whatever. You'll have all these negative things to say about the United States, but yet and still, well, because that's my home country, about the United States, but yet and still, can you imagine if you yourself were born in a place like the Philippines? Now, with all due respect, much love to my Filipino people, but I see a lot of y'all trying to get the hell out of the Philippines. That's what I'm saying when I say what it's like to possibly be born in a situation like that. At least in the United States, again, you may have issues considering, what's going on in the political landscape and all of that stuff. You may seem or may feel as though there's a lot of things that are striking down the opportunities for people who may look like me or POCs or whatever you want to say, but let's not get into the political aspect of it all. I still believe that the United States and Western world countries are still places where opportunities can be met, which is why a lot of Filipinos want to go abroad so bad, more specifically to like the United States and Canada, North America, and places like that. But they'll take their chances in, other parts of Asia like Japan and Korea and stuff like that. But they know that their opportunities will best benefit them, or the chance for them to make something of themselves will likely best benefit them by moving to other countries, not necessarily staying in the Philippines and trying to make it work in the Philippines. Now, I've seen Filipinos get it out the mud, and those one percenters that have made something of themselves, kudos to them. Because when I tell you, rich Filipinos and rich Asians in general, they ain't like rich people I've ever met in the United States. The rich Asians ain't nothing to fuck with. But that's another story for another day. But I do believe that the main reason foreigners need to come to a place like the Philippines is because it helps you to appreciate where you're from. Right? You'd be like, damn, man, I told you guys, the level of poverty is it's tough. It's tough out here, all right? It's tough out there. I'm sorry, I'm not there yet. See, mindset. I'm always channeling my energy as if I'm there right now. But it will help you to appreciate it more. It will help you to say, you know what, guys? The Philippines is an amazing place. It's an amazing place to visit. It's an amazing place to live. But let's be honest, even us as foreigners believe in the mantra and the concept of make it in the West, spend it in the East. So we get all of our bread in the Western world where we can make it and we can retire and do all the things that we want to bring it to the Philippines and spend it over there. You never really hear a lot of people say, make it in the East, spend it in the East. I've never really heard too many people say that ever. So I want you to understand that there is an appreciation level that comes with being able to say that you've been to the Philippines. You've seen what it's like. You've seen what it has to offer. But you've only been able to see what it has to offer you as a foreigner in the Philippines. You've never really been able to, or it's probably hard for you to be able to understand the concept of what it's like to be a Filipino in the Philippines. Which is why personally for me, knowing the people that I know, knowing the hardships that a lot of people have been through, and some, people have been able to make something good of their lives, and some are just still trying to figure it out. And as a result of that, I do believe that my time spent in the country does help me to appreciate, you know, coming from where I come from, you know? And the thing about that is, if you really think long and hard about this, a lot of people don't think about it from this perspective, but I do all the time. The thing about it is, I'm a foreigner. I am a black American. I can travel to the United States of America anytime I want to if I'm living in the Philippines. If something doesn't go right for me, or I feel like it's in my best interest to go ahead and alleviate myself out of the country, I can do that, right? As long as I have the funds to be able to afford to, I can do that. But if you're a Filipino in the Philippines and something goes wrong, ain't too many places you can move outside the Philippines because you can only maneuver within the Philippines. You understand? So when I think of it like that, it does help me to appreciate where I'm from a little bit more. Again, I appreciate that little blue passport that they give me that allows me to travel to different parts of the world that I really don't really need visas for the most part. I mean, now, COVID situation making that a little bit difficult, but I've been able to travel to places where I don't need visas, or I'm able to get visas on arrival. Like when I went to Japan, I got 90-day visa. When I first touched down, I was able to stay there for 3 months if I chose to. But at that time, it was my layover stop, to get to the Philippines. But they stamped my passport for 3 months, right? The Philippines, usually, 29 days? Again, that was back before everything happening right now. Visas upon arrival, 30 days. And that's just about anywhere you go. That would have been Thailand, Cambodia, Vietnam. You could go places and you can get these stamps on your passport with no problem. You feel me? So if you don't appreciate where you're coming from and all you want to do is shit on it, I kind of believe a trip to the Philippines and a trip to any place like it, even if you take a trip to Africa, man, places like Sudan, like these places get really bad. And some places in Africa are really bad. Poverty at an all-time high, third world countries and things of that nature. It's crazy. And for me, I noticed that it helped me to appreciate where I'm from and appreciate the opportunities that I'm afforded. And never, ever, 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 ever take that shit for granted. Never take it for granted. We might have a lot of gripes about what goes on, where we're from, and stuff like that. And I get it. I'm in the same boat sometimes. Sometimes I'm over here scratching my head like, man, if it ain't something, it's something. But at some point in time, you got to realize, sit back, relax, and if you weigh the pros and cons and you would wonder whether you wish that you were born in the Philippines as a Filipino and born in the United States as a Black American, White American, Hispanic American, etc., and you weigh the pros and cons of each, I still believe that you'll find it more often than not that people will say, yeah, man, I'd still rather be from, the United States. I'd still rather be, an American. I'd still rather be where I'm from in whatever first world country that I'm from, because again, those opportunities are more often gifted or given or made available to me while I'm there, as opposed to some of the opportunities or lack thereof in places like the Philippines. All right, so that's me, guys. I don't know how you guys feel, man. You already know what to do. Let me know how you feel in the comment section below, man. Feel free to share, like, comment, subscribe, do all the good ish to make yourself well versed in the content. Ladies and gentlemen, this is my time. It has been fun. It has been real, but it's time for the good doc to go and get to getting. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, the good doc is officially out. At least nako paalam, which means I am going now. Bye-bye. As always, love you guys. Sincerely do. Makita. Mabuhay. Peace.